Let's try that. Yeah. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it.
That's who your face is.
Honestly, yeah.
For years. I'm more trying to get something done.
Okay, so once he starts talking, we can start the live stream.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that people don't walk down this middle aisle.
This one we're having trouble with. The Wi-Fi is really weak. And then I tried Dave, he had 5G also too.
It didn't do any better.
But we're recording here, so if anything.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Okay, so I'm going to start streaming.
If you can find your seats, we'll get the program started. So good afternoon once again, and welcome to our annual Outreach Luncheon. I am Brian Edwards, an Outreach Board member and your Luncheon Chairman today. Thrilled to do that. Right now, please join me in welcoming Paul Vitale, Deacon, Basilica of St. Patrick's Old Cathedral, and a fellow Outreach Board member to conduct our invocation.
Thank you. On behalf of the board, and I congratulate Outreach for tonight, and I'd like to welcome all of you to this annual luncheon. I thought I would start out by reading the mission of Outreach, which is really a part of any invocation that has meaning to it, as this one does. And the mission is to inspire individuals and families to achieve a life of unlimited potential by developing and delivering the highest quality, evidence-based behavioral health services and training. Today, we continue to pray for all those who are struggling with substance abuse and mental health issues. We salute the staff of Outreach, the leadership, and the board members for their hard work in changing people's lives every day to a happier and healthier life. And we are with them all on their journey, the patients and the family. We ask God to shine His light on this organization and keep it lit and burning for days and years to come. We ask God to shine His light on today's event. We give thanks for this organization, for the food we are about to eat, and for this beautiful day. Amen.
Thank you, Paul. Next, we are pleased to welcome two actual Outreach House residents, Marilyn and Anthony, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thanks, you can be seated. Great job, man. So let's introduce the members of our dais this afternoon. Please hold your applause until I finish introducing all of them. From left to right, Christine Cassiano, the Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of Outreach. Sophia, who is an actual Outreach House graduate. You'll hear from her shortly. You've already met Paul Vitale, the Deacon, Basilica of St. Patrick's Old Cathedral, and Outreach Development Board Secretary. Debra Penn, Outreach's President and CEO. To my left, Roger Clayman, Long Island Federation of Labor, AFL-CIO. Kevin O'Connor, the CEO of Dime Community Bank. John Shillingsburg, partner at PKF O'Connor Davies LLP. And Sergio Sadida, Outreach Development Board Chair. A round of applause for our entire team. I'd like to take a moment, too, to recognize some special organizations that sponsored us. Our first marquee luncheon sponsor, PKF O'Connor Davies LLP. Thank you very much. Our our gold sponsor, TD Bank, thank you as well. And we are fortunate to have 10 silver sponsors: Building Material Teamsters, Local 282, Dime Community Bank, IBEW Local 25, Louis Joe's Avalon and Aviles, M&T Bank, Mutual of America, Pride Business Center, RWDSU Local 338, and Steamfitters Local 638. A round of applause for our silver sponsors. So one of the really cool things about this luncheon is how our past luncheon honorees come back and attend year after year. No pressure, guys. At this time, though, it's my honor to recognize the following past honorees as they remain standing when I mention their name. First, we have Matthew Arustich, Tony Bottolato, Kevin Casey, John Domino, John Durso, Tom Gesualdi, Jim Goldrick, Mark Herbst, Fred Joes, Gary LaBarbera, and Sinead King. Please give them a round of applause. Thank you all. Don't forget to visit the silent auction, which is to my left. You can walk away with a Tory Burch bag or a Brute bag. Obviously, I have no idea what that is, but I hear it's got great value, and I'm sure that it has a lot of meaning to people in the audience. We appreciate you supporting Outreach by participating in that silent auction. We've also got some terrific raffle prizes. I'm just going to mention them briefly because we'll be selling the raffles throughout the day if you haven't bought some already. We have a number of 2 point-of-purchase bracelets for Summer Fun at Adventureland, compliments of Adventureland. We have 2 tickets to the New Kids on the Block Mixtape Tour 2022, featuring Salt and Peppa. You guys probably didn't think I could say that. Rick Astley and In Vogue, compliments of Collins Building Services. We appreciate that. Here's a really cool one: Summer Dining on Long Island, compliments of Blessings, who does a great job here, and Salt, which is a terrific restaurant. Then we have a New York Jets team signed football, compliments of the New York Jets. And then we'll be doing a 50-50 so you can walk away with some real cash. So make sure that if you haven't already, you see Marsha or Crystal. Where's Marsha? Marsha, Crystal? As a matter of fact, they're over. There's Crystal. I don't see Marsha, but we should give them a big round of applause. They put the event together. We will announce our raffle and silent auction winners at the conclusion of the program. Okay, now we got those formalities out of the way. Again, welcome to all of you. I've had the privilege to chair this luncheon event for 17 years, including over the past 2 years, a few virtual events that were very successful thanks to many people inside this audience and up at the dais. If you've been with us year after year at this event, you know what this is about. If you're here for the first time, I think you're in for a treat. It's a relatively brief but powerful and emotional program. And our intent really is very straightforward. Our intent is to give you a clear view into what Outreach does on an everyday basis so you know what you're supporting and how you're supporting them. My involvement with Outreach goes back almost 20 years now. As a person who worked in banking on the island and in the New York area, I had the opportunity to visit and support a number of different organizations. And a friend of mine from Chase said, you have to go out and see this place, Outreach House in Brentwood. Just take a tour. I promise you, it will change your life. It's a pretty bold statement. Being a banker, I was curious. And I went out and took that tour and had 2 young adults, much like the young adults we have attending in the back of the room today, who deserve a round of applause, by the way. And the 2 young adults took me through the Outreach House project in Brentwood and showed me what they dealt with and how their lives were now structured. And at the end, I kind of asked an innocent question. I said, well, tell me what Outreach House means to you. And the young man turned to me first and he said, Mr. Edwards, if it weren't for Outreach House, I wouldn't be alive today. And the young lady turned to me and said, me too. And then they kind of just moved along and stopped me cold in my tracks. I will never forget that day. I kind of walked out to the parking lot of Outreach House afterwards. I had a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old at that time. And I was stunned, and I said to myself, I would never stop supporting this amazing organization. And that's what this place is. They rebuild people's lives. The way they do it is extraordinary. And I think that if you have the inclination, you should contact Christine or Marsha or Crystal and take a tour and find out how they literally save lives. It's one of the jewels and amazing gems on Long Island. And if you think about that 20 years ago for me, and I'm still standing here, and they've been kind enough to invite me back, and many of you have been involved longer than me. You fast forward now to 2022, and unfortunately the need is greater now than ever. Since 2016, drug overdose deaths have increased almost 75%, which is an amazing and startling statistic, reaching the highest point ever recorded last year. In fact, overdose deaths are up about 50% since the pandemic started. And there is an absolute fentanyl crisis in the United States. Outreach is on the front lines of that crisis, and they are saving lives. They're helping individuals, they're helping families rebuild their lives, and they're helping make our communities stronger and better. And they reconnect those individuals and families back with their communities, one person at a time. It isn't easy work. What they do is by far very, very difficult, but it's very necessary and it's highly successful work. And the outcomes, which I think all of us should be focused on, results, the results with outreach and the results they accomplish are nothing short of astounding. And you want to be aligned with an organization that is focused on those types of results. So that is what you are supporting by being here today. You're saving young adults' lives. You're helping them reconnect to their families, and you're helping those families reconnect with their communities. In addition, you're helping support the outstanding outpatient programs that Outreach has and training that Outreach provides in the social services sector that make our communities even stronger. Kevin and I were just talking before about as bankers, you get the opportunity to support these local organizations. They're amazing, they're jewels, they're gems, and they're unique to Long Island. And that's what makes Long Island a very special place. But not enough people know about outreach, so we hope you will learn more about what we do and how we do it. I cannot express enough pride in how this incredible organization and dedicated team have risen to the unbelievable challenges that took place over the past few years. It brought challenges to all of us, but specifically to the residents at Outreach and the programs that they run. The dynamic and ever-evolving work never ended. It just became even more difficult. So I think it's important to give a huge round of applause to the amazing Outreach staff, some of who are here today. And to that point now, I am very pleased to introduce the President and CEO of Outreach, Debra, Penn.
Thank you, Brian. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back. It is my pleasure to be back at Stonebridge Country Club, shaking hands and breaking bread, and most of all, honoring our Long Island heroes. I'm very happy to see all of you and to know that you are keeping safe, which is the most important thing. As you know, the pandemic not only affected us physically and emotionally, but it further heightened the need, as Brian just mentioned, for the services that we provide. We at Outreach continue to press forward, not only with the quality clinic services we provide, but also with the expansion and the opening of new program services to help us to continue to build healthy lives. Earlier this month, and if those of you missed it, I was just telling Brian a little while ago, you can still get it on YouTube. Earlier this month, we officially broke ground on a new young adult residence in the Brentwood area, and it's actually, as you walked in, a picture of it is standing right there and right here. You'll see it. And that young adult residence will serve ages 18 to 25, giving them the support they need to fight addiction and to reunite with their families, which is most of all important. Additionally, we have expanded the provision of medication-assisted treatment on Long Island. You just heard Brian talked about the fentanyl epidemic that we have, and one of the key things to help us fight that is the medication-assisted treatment program that we provide. These These types of initiatives are made possible with the generous support of each and every one of you gathered here today, and for that, we are grateful. And when I say we, I am coming to you on behalf of my staff, who I know really are truly indebted to you, and also my boards. Your kindness and support does not go unnoticed. I want to give a special thank you to some people who went above and beyond to contribute to today's event. As Brian mentioned, we have some Tory Birch bags that are being auctioned today. We have that because of Paul Vitale, and we want to thank you, Paul, so much for that. We are a true family here at Outreach. We're thanking Paul, but we also have to thank Eric, his son, who, Paul is on our board, not Eric, his son, but by extension, Eric is also part of the family here at Outreach. Please thank Eric. And for the raffle prizes, thanks to the New York Jets, Collins Building Services, Adventureland, Lessings Hospitality Group, and as Brian mentioned, also Salt Restaurant. We thank you so much for your support. To all of our 2022 honorees, congratulations and thank you for your continued service to people in need. You all have not only talked the talk, but you've also walked the walk, as evidenced by your services in the community. We are humbled by your acceptance of our invitation to be honored and all of your collective work towards fundraising for this event. And to everyone, I encourage you to take the time to learn more about each of our deserving honorees. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce an Outreach House graduate to you. Her name is Sophia. Outreach House is home to our teen drug and alcohol residential program. Outreach House 2, as it's affectionately referred to by us, we service at that house substance abuse and co-occurring treatment for teens 12 to 18. So as you get the picture, we do services now for 12 to 18, and then the project that we just programmed now will do 18 to 25, and we also have adults. So you see what we're building here on Long Island in terms of a service continuum. You will also see towards the tables to the far right in the back, a group of teens sitting on both tables in beautiful purple shirts. And we are so proud of them and the work that they are doing to sustain their recovery. And please, if you would just join me in giving them a round of applause. I'll tell you a little bit about her, but she's going to tell you much more. Sophia entered OH2 in June of 2020, and she stayed with us till about June of 2021, which was during the height of the COVID pandemic, believe it or not. As you know, this time caused many of our youth to feel isolated. At 16 years old, a 10th grader in high school, she was referred to us by the drug and alcohol counselor at her school. Sophia was in our residential program for a year, and she's currently in our aftercare program, which is a beautiful thing because after folks stay with us, they are able to continue with us on an outpatient building to continue to sustain their recovery. Sophia is joined here today with her parents, Vanessa and Chris, thank you for joining us, and also her sister, and I believe her best friend, right? I got that right? Okay, great. We know you are all very proud of her, and so are we. Please join me in congratulating Sophia and welcoming her.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sophia. I'm currently 17 years old. I'm from Northport. I was a resident in Outreach from June 2020 to June 2021. My life before outreach was, best way I could describe it is chaotic, messy, and just a wreck, a complete wreck. I started using drugs in about 8th grade. It started off with me just, smoking with my friends at parties. I did that for about 8th to 9th grade. In 9th grade, I had a lot of family issues. On top of the issues I already had, like I was lacking self-confidence and a bunch of things, and the issues on top of that really just took a toll on me. Beginning of 9th grade, I started drinking probably like 5-6 times a day. I didn't know what to do with myself, and I felt like my only escape was to use. I started running away from home a lot, and my family problems only progressed because of my bad decisions. I was using a temporary solution like drugs for any problem I had because it was so uncomfortable to sit in my emotions. I was not mentally stable or physically. This hurt my family, and all they wanted from me was for me to be happy. They couldn't see me struggle anymore. After a while of me lashing out on my family and friends and all my loved ones, brought up an idea to me was to go to outreach, and I agreed because I knew I wasn't happy deep down. I knew I needed more help than what my parents and therapists could give me. So when I got into outreach, it took me a very, very long time to get in touch with my feelings. And I guess it's because I've never done it before. I didn't know how to do it because I was just solving everything with drugs, as I thought. But no. Took me probably about 9 months in outreach to really dig deep and figure out the root of all my problems. I finally understood that I can only change if I really wanted to change. But the help of my primary counselor, Danielle, where is she? Danielle, she helped me a lot. And most definitely the family department. Julia isn't here today, but she helped me extremely with my relationships with my family and just getting back on track with them. Throughout outreach, I gained a lot of healthy coping skills, and I learned how to have healthy relationships, And this program overall for me made me realize that it's okay really not to be okay. It's okay to sit in your feelings and to feel what you feel and to actually dig deep in that and figure out the root of your problems and grow from it. And that's what I wasn't doing. Graduated outreach. Took 12 months, 1 day, exactly, to leave. Since I've graduated outreach, I've passed 11th grade. I've had 2 jobs since then. Passed first year of beauty school. My 2-year sober was yesterday. Without the help of outreach and everyone in outreach and my family. And I hope my story helped at least some people, and thank you for having me speak today.
Thank you, Sophia. That was, I've heard a number of different stories. That was one of the most honest, raw, and straightforward stories I've heard. And thank you to your family for being here, and your best friend, too. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Congratulations on what you've accomplished, though, from all of us. We're going to shift gears a little bit. After you've heard a real story, we want to recognize some very special people. They are our 2022 honorees who made this event and today possible. Thanks to their tremendous support and to all of you here today and many who are not here today, we have currently raised almost $185,000, which is fantastic. first honoree started his stellar career in 1973 with the National AFL-CIO Civil Rights Department. After 30 years at the national level, organizing political and collective bargaining campaigns around the country, he came to Long Island, to the Long Island Federation of Labor, the fourth largest labor council in the country, serving as the executive director from 2005 into this year. The local federation is the voice for over 250,000 union members and their families in Nassau and Suffolk, and speaks for local unions and their members at every level of government. Under his leadership, the federation focused on gaining good jobs and housing in local communities, rebuilding Long Island's infrastructure, and providing leadership training for the next generation of union leaders, as well as promoting immigrants' rights and economic empowerment for workers fighting exploitation and unsafe working conditions. Most notably, he worked with others to establish a pre-apprentice program, recruiting young minority men and women from economically challenged communities to gain entry into the construction trades. He and his wife Lillian currently live in Port Jeff. They have 2 grown children and 3 grandchildren. Outreach is very proud to honor Roger Clayman for his contribution and commitment to helping Outreach to achieve its goal of building healthy lives. Please welcome Roger Clayman.
Thanks, Brian, and thank you to Outreach. This is a terrific honor. I want to recognize the other honorees who are themselves real leaders in their community. They're some great supporters of the Outreach program, but they have done a lot over the years to help the whole community. So thank you for being here. Sophia, congratulations, and the other young people. We in our labor movement are inspired by you and by the others, and that's why we're here again and again. I want to thank the representatives of local unions who are here today for your support for the Outreach Center. This is an organization that deserves our respect and support. It was a dynamic leader of one of these local unions, Local 25, a guy by the name of Bill Lindsay, who liked to use the term, we have a responsibility to our membership from the cradle to the grave. Along that road, there can be many bumps and bruises. For union members, we established a program called Lexa to take care of those drug and alcohol problems that might cost them their jobs and their families their welfare. For young people, it's even more inspiring to us because they're just getting started. None of us can do this alone, so this is why we work so closely with Outreach. We're all in this together. It's been a great honor for me working with John Durso, Brian Stanton, Billy Andino, Kathy Goodwin, Imran Ansari at the Long Island Federation of Labor, and so this is just another milestone for me. This is my first Outreach Luncheon, and it won't be my last. I really respect this organization. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Roger. That was a great job. Well said. Our next honoree is a true Long Island business success story who became the CEO of Dime Community Bank in 2020, one of the region's largest community banks. Prior to leading Dime, he served as the CEO of Bridgehampton National Bank, where he led the Long Island Community Institution through a period of dramatic growth and financial stability, all while being consistently rated by Newsday as one of the top places to work on the island. No surprise, he has also been named one of Long Island's top CEOs by Long Island Business News. In fact, thousands of businesses from Manhattan to Montauk have benefited from his lifelong commitment to the New York communities his banks have served. He sits on the boards of numerous organizations, including the Long Island Association, the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, and is currently a member of the Board of Trustees of Suffolk County Community College. A Long Island native, he holds his accounting degrees from Suffolk Community College and Adelphi University. He also remains a devoted supporter of the Suffolk County Boy Scouts and the Long Island chapter of the American Red Cross. Outreach is very proud to honor Kevin O'Connor for his contribution and commitment to helping Outreach to achieve its goal of building healthy lives. Please welcome Kevin O'Connor.
Tough act to follow, but I just want to thank Outreach for recognizing me and for the work that you do. I had some prepared remarks. And then this morning, as I was having my cup of coffee, I opened the newspaper. And in the newspaper, I don't know if it's prophetic, they basically took a day in the life of a heroin addict living outside Queens Center. And the newspaper followed him around as he lived his life shoplifting. He was a former EMT, a New York City fireman. And they followed him as he got his money doing that. They discussed in the newspaper in great detail him injecting himself in the neck. And then what was really unsettling in this life of seeming of no hope, they interviewed his mother, who had almost resigned herself to the fact that this was, the life that this young man was going to live. And then I thought back to the day that I did get to tour with the two young people who walked me around. And they did express the same thing, that Outreach was their chance at a real life. And I thought about this young man that didn't have it, and he didn't have what's here and what you provide. And so any of the things that I do in life, humbled by what you accomplish, what those young people are doing. And so I am greatly honored to be here. And again, I don't know why that newspaper popped today, but it did, and it made me recognize, again, what you do. It made me think about it. It inspires me. I will be back, and for everybody in this room that does the things that you do that give these young people hope that this young man didn't have, I thank you on behalf of myself and my family for the work that you do, and I thank you for this honor. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. No truer words said. Our third honoree is a CPA and partner at PKF O'Connor Davies with nearly 30 years of experience in accounting, auditing, and taxation for closely held businesses. His wide-ranging client base includes manufacturing, wholesale, distribution, professional service-based companies, and employee benefit plans. He specializes in aiding closely held businesses in succession planning and has developed a strategic M&A book to facilitate successful transition as well as maximize value and preserve wealth. He is past president of the board of directors of the New York State Society of Certified Public Accountants, Suffolk chapter, and past vice president of the statewide board of directors. He is also a registered representative who has passed the FINRA Series 7 and 66 exams and holds a New York State life and health insurance license. Serves on the golf committee for the fantastic interfaith nutritional network that supports homelessness, supports people who are homeless. He also serves on Outreach's annual Luncheon committee, has been involved for years with us. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in accounting from Elizabethtown College. In addition to his CPA, he is accredited in business valuation and is a certified fraud examiner. Outreach is proud to honor John Shillingsburg for his contribution and commitment to helping Outreach to achieve its goal of building healthy lives. Please join me in welcoming John Shillingsburg.
Thank you, Brian, and wow, what a turnout. I got to say one thing. We had a recent partner conference about 2 weeks ago, and we've been not present in the room, I guess, for 2 years now, and my managing partner of the firm said, wow, 3 times. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here to support Outreach. This is a It is a true honor to be here, and it's a pleasure to be with this esteemed panel here with my honored fellow Honorees. Sophia, great job. All right. It's nice to see everyone in person, and it has been quite a while. I'd like to take a minute just to recognize, I think, and I'll say what Brian has already said, but I'd like to take a few minutes to recognize the amazing efforts of the continuing successful luncheon that creates a strong collaborative effort to help the young adults of Outreach and its mission. Debbie Pantin, Christine Cassiano, Crystal Montague, and Brian Edwards, who has been on the Luncheon Committee, as he said, for 17 years. Thank you so much for your hard work. So I only have a couple of minutes, but one of the things I wanted to share with you is how I got involved in outreach. If many of you know, my prior firm, ABZ, was involved for many years, and we obviously combined and merged our practice with PKF O'Connor Davies in January 2021. Prior to that, one of the former partners of ABZ was Mike Collins, and most of you know who Mike is. Mike came to me as he was getting ready to retire and said, would you be interested in taking over my position on the Outreach Luncheon Committee? And I said, absolutely, I'd love to see a little bit more about the organization. So I attended a committee meeting with Mike and found out a little bit more about the people involved and what the organization did. And after the meeting was over, I took a tour, okay? And that tour of the facility, I learned firsthand exactly what outreach does. And the tour was given by young adults, right? And so I've been involved since 2015 for seven years. With a quick show of hands, I just need to know how many people actually have had a tour of the facility, if you don't mind me asking. Okay. So my next statement to what Brian said and Debbie has said, if you haven't had a tour, I strongly encourage you to take a tour, because these young adults who give the tour tell you about their experiences, about the organization, how they got there, and what their life has been prior to and going through outreach. So if you haven't done so, please take some time out to make an appointment and take a tour. My recent tour with Kevin was given by Jose and Sophia. I understand Sophia graduated last night. That's correct, right? Sophia? Yeah. Sophia? Yes. Okay. Okay. And they did a fantastic job when they gave us a tour. So the tour guides that do provide this tour for people, go through their daily roles. They go through their responsibilities. They tell you about their personal experiences, how they got to outreach, and it's impactful. And they share their gratefulness, I guess, to outreach itself. So the theme of the luncheon, New Beginnings, to you, I congratulate you again, because it is New Beginnings and it's very powerful and appropriate for outreach. Outreach does play a significant role in helping these kids and young adults overcome their addictions and provide a pathway to success. So one of the things I like to do is always try and be a little bit different, and I've attended a lot of luncheons over the years and committee meetings. And one of the things I thought I would share with everybody today, and this is certainly something I just came up with recently, is what does outreach really mean, right? So what I did was I took the letters of outreach and I just kind of laid them down in a columnar format. So each one of those letters stands for a very important word, at least in my opinion, and I'll share these with the young adults in the back. O stands for opportunities, U stands for understanding, T stands for teaching, R stands for rebuilding, E stands for excitement, A stands for achievements, C stands for connecting, and H stands for healthiness or health and well-being. That's what I came up with outreach, and I think hearing everybody speak and a little bit more about the program. So for the young adults that are here today, back in the back of the room, I can only share with you a couple of things that I say to my boys over the years, right? Always believe and understand that hard work pays off. So to my friends and colleagues and co-workers and partners, I want to sincerely thank you for your support in providing this successful luncheon for outreach and its mission, and continued support that will change the lives of kids at outreach for years to come. Thank you very much.
That was pretty cool. I hope we don't get tested on what those letters mean, but I like it. Appreciate that, John. So before we go to the next part of the program, what I'd ask you to do is one more shot with Marcia and Crystal on the raffles. They're over in this area. If you haven't bought already, please do. Or they can come to you. If you put your hand up, they'll walk over. If you want to walk up in the middle of one of us talking, feel free. And just put a big, healthy donation on one of the silent auction bags. We'd appreciate that. But now we get to move to a very special moment, the presentation of the John Brower Jr. Memorial Award. And back in 2014, just days actually before our annual luncheon took place, Outreach received a call from a family who had just tragically lost their son to an opioid overdose. In their grief, they reached out to us and asked about having donations sent to Outreach in lieu of flowers. Since that time, the family of John Brower Jr., led by his parents John and Jody, and their children Kristen and Robert, have been on a flat-out mission to prevent lives from being lost to the opioid epidemic. In 2015, in recognition of the family's selfless efforts, Outreach established what we call the John Brower Jr. Memorial Award. And this award recognizes an individual whose exceptional and selfless service promotes the awareness and prevention of opioid addiction, while at the same time fostering the work toward achieving recovery for impacted individuals. The Brower family continues to raise awareness and money, working closely with not only Outreach, but others throughout Long Island. And they are once again here with us today. I'd ask all of you to recognize John and Jody, as well as John Jr.'s siblings, Kristen and Robert, who are over here to the right. This very prestigious award syncs with the wonderful Brower family's mission to turn their tragedy into hope for others. This year's recipient first volunteered with Outreach in 2010, became a board member in 2015, and is now the chair of the Outreach Development Board. He has, for countless years, been a guiding force for Outreach. Curiously enough, he has had two rather distinctive but interrelated career paths. First, over a 40-year banking career, he held diverse and groundbreaking positions in branch administration, marketing, business development, and small business group project management for Chase Bank. Secondly, in what he calls his post-retirement career over the past 20 years, he has worked as a volunteer consultant in the nonprofit world through the National Executive Service Corps, where he served as Long Island Regional Director from 2008 to 2010. Through NESC, he has been involved in numerous strategic planning, board development, marketing, branding, human resource, performance evaluations, management, sales training, and succession planning projects with nonprofit organizations. He holds Bachelor of Arts and Master's degrees in economics from Brooklyn College, City University of New York, and did postgraduate work in economics at New York University. He and his wife Priscilla reside on Long Island. They are very active in community activities and improvement efforts. Outreach is very pleased to honor Sergio Satida with the prestigious 2022 John J. Brower Jr. Memorial Award. Sergio, the microphone is yours.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Honorees, for your support in meeting the ever-increasing challenges of opioid and substance abuse, which is ravaging our wonderful Long Island community. A special thank you to the Brower family for all the good work they have done and are doing. To you, John, Kristen, Jody, Robert, your work has been exemplary, and we are all so impressed by it and so grateful for it. Thank you. I've been a fan of the Brower family since 2014 with the tragic passing of his son, John Jr., their son, John Jr., and I continually remain impressed by their really, really incredible work. I've been a volunteer since I retired from the Chase Bank 23 years ago. And when I say that, when I heard Brian talk about my career, I said, man, am I old? But after all this, I am so happy to be up here and able to thank you for this wonderful award. I started my volunteer work with Outreach in 2010 when I was participating with another firm as a consultant and I came to Outreach, fell in love with the mission, fell in love with the people, fell in love with the clients. I've met so many good friends, starting with Kathy Riddle, Neil Sheehan, Christine Cassiano, Tony Croce, John Venza, Mary Bright, and so many more. And I'm not going to list them, and I hope nobody's offended. But now I have some new friends, namely Debbie Patton and Crystal. So it has been just a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I am particularly appreciative for this special honor because not only is it a wonderful thing to receive it from an agency that I love so very much, but it is such an honor because it represents what the Bauer family is all about. Again, such an impressive family, such courage, and we all are just in awe of what you've done and continue to do for our agency and for the battle against substance abuse. Outreach continues to be my motivation in life. It gives me a reason to get up in the morning. Lately it's a little harder because I need a cane, but it is a wonderful objective in my life to know that I come to Outreach, I do my volunteer work, and I know that everything that I do is going to a wonderful cause, building healthier lives in our community. Again, I thank you for the honor. I am humbled by it. I will continue to do my best to be deserving of it. Thank you.
The best way I can describe Sergio is what a beautiful soul. I mean, he lights rooms up. He really does. And his heart is in everything he does. So congratulations, Sergio, and congratulations to all our honorees. Now I'd like to invite actually John Brower up to the podium, as well as invite Debra back up for a special announcement from the Brower family.
On behalf of the John Brower Jr. Foundation, we're presenting it. Excuse me. I had anesthesia yesterday. It's done something in my throat. We'd like to present a check to Outreach for $30,000.
Since 2014, and just such a wonderful family. So when I got a call from John asking me about making a substantial contribution, I was, of course, kind of taken back by the amount, asking whether he could make a $30,000 contribution to the building of the young adults facility. And we spoke about his son a little bit and about wanting to name one of the rooms after his son. And so of course I said, absolutely. And then we talked a little bit about what he liked, and that maybe something like a computer room would be a nice thing to name because John Jr. really liked computers. And so we are very happy to be able to do that, and we'll talk some more and be able to, you know, name one of the rooms after John Jr.
It's amazing. It's a family that just keeps on giving in the face of a tragedy, and it's just incredible to see what they do. Wonderful gift. Thank you to the entire family for keeping outreach, top of mind with the selfless work that you do. We at Outreach also want to once again and finally thank everyone here today, all of you, for sharing your valuable time with us and learning how we impact lives. We need to assure that this effort continues well into the future. I'm personally appealing to everybody inside this room if you would do a couple of things. First, please share what you learned about outreach today with anyone and everyone. The best way to get the word out about Outreach's services and the wonderful work they do is for people to talk, and this is a jewel on the island, so we'd ask you to do that. Secondly, please stay involved with us in whatever way you choose. Together, I think all of us will continue to rebuild healthy Long Island lives with hope and with courage for years to come. And before we conclude the program, I just want to shout out to Kathleen Riddle, who's sitting over there, who's the founder of Outreach. Kathleen, stand up for a second. We want to talk about perseverance. She slammed the doors of every single government official, building people, countless other people we won't mention, to bring this to a reality and to see a new building come about. And Debra now on board with us. Kathleen, you should be very proud. It's amazing what you've accomplished. Before everybody, one more round. Yeah, we can do that. I think it's a good time to announce the silent auction winners, Marcia, and the raffle winners. So, Sophia, you're going to get the honors. Come on back up. We just sold one.
We can do a picture. Well, it shows you like the beginning of the raffle. So God, go play the prize. Do that without pictures. Yeah, exactly. Walking up your way. I know, right? Just throw it back. What is it?
Okay, so while they get the final raffle tickets squared away, I think it's important to note that through the raffle this afternoon, we've raised almost $3,500. So we really appreciate that. And the last prize that we will announce will be a 50-50 winner. It looks like that winner is going to get $1,700. So that's pretty amazing too. I think we need Jeopardy music just to get the last donations. Guys, why don't you give us about 4 or 5 minutes? We'll come back up to the raffles and get you out of here. Thank you.
You like it?